No, I remember when I was about 15 years of age, you know, we started to smoke, you know, and we didn't have very much money. But anyway, my parents didn't know I smoked. And my brother Bill took advantage of this. He used to go into my pocket and steal my cigarettes, knowing that I couldn't say a word. Anyway, that went on for a week or two, and I got fed up. And I marched through to the living room one day in front of my mother and father with a cigarette in my mouth. And that was his blackmail finished.
Mostly they were situations of concern about his daughter, making sure that his daughter was treated right and fair, and that I was going to toe the line and make sure I became part of the family.
So did you feel part of the family?
Well, I went to all the parties.
If there was a camera arranged, my dad was always there. He loved to have his picture taken and act the ham a little bit. But since my dad isn't here, I'll say a few words. Coming to America, I was 17, and really my dad wasn't around very much when we were growing up. First of all, there was the war. And then, of course, being a chef, he worked strange hours. And I found that I've done a lot more with my dad in my later years and his later years, since he's been retired. In the last 10 years, he'd come and visit us when we were overseas. And every place we've lived, he and my mother have come to visit. And we've done a lot of pretty special things together. We've traveled, we've toured, and I've shown him things that he probably wouldn't have seen otherwise, and he's done the same for me. He's been very close to my daughters.
Okay, I can go back. My brother William, who passed away yesterday, the 17th, was 4.5 years older than me. And he pushed me around a little bit, you know, until I got a little bit older. I could stand up to him. Anyway, we were more than brothers. We were friends. And we spent most of our life together. In 1953, my brother decided to come over to the United States. And we were always getting letters back in Scotland. Come over to the States, you'll love it, you'll love it. To be perfectly honest, I had no wish personally to leave Scotland. I was pretty well situated, this and that next thing. But my wife got the bug. And you know, when a woman gets a bug, you might as well pack in. Anyway, we followed my brother over here in 1955. We came and we stayed with him for the first 10 days or so until we were able to get a place of our own. From then on, it was, again, a very, very close family. Bill and I were, I should say, were very keen fishermen. And an average of 2 days a week we'd go out fishing. And he was a character, you know. Bill couldn't cast straight. He couldn't go right forward. I'd put my line out. And he would follow me and put his line out. And I'd go right across here, right across my line. I'd say, Bill, you're right across my line. He'd look at me. Let's say, well, just drawing his line again.
when Megan was here last November, in his own words, he told her what happened when he was a young man. He won 2 Andrew Carnegie Awards for bravery, and one happened when he was 14. And we do have the newspaper articles, but she wanted to write it in her words so she could use it for a school project. He stopped a runaway horse outside of the school and averted probably a disaster because the children were getting out of school. And then when he was, I guess the year I was born, so he hadn't been married maybe a couple of years, a girl set herself on fire accidentally in the kitchen in the hotel where he worked, and he managed to get the flames out and burned himself pretty badly, but saved the girl's life basically. And that was the kind of things he did. Found out later that my grandfather also won it, so it must run in the family. My granddad jumped into the water of Leith, or New Haven Harbor, my Uncle Jimmy said, and saved someone from drowning. So it must have just run in the family, and my dad followed his dad's footsteps.
Well, I met Bill back in 1967,
Look at me if you want.
68, and that's when I was first going with his daughter Sylvia. And he didn't like me because I was an Irishman. But after a while, especially after Sean was born, we got along very well, except at parties. He and I always drank too much, and we always seemed to get in each other's way. But I always enjoyed Bill and was always grateful for the way he treated Sean all through the several years that have gone on now. And I'm sure he's had a good life. I'm sure he'll be very happy that everybody remembers him for all the things he's done for them. And we'll miss him.
If my brother were here at this moment, he would say, "Jimmy, that's just me. I would rather have a little rose from the garden of a friend than have the choicest flowers when my stay on earth does end. I would rather have the kindest words and a smile that I can see than flattery when my heart is still and this life cease to be. I would rather have a loving smile from the friends I know are true than tears shed round my casket when the world I bid adieu." This was taken from the Evening Tribune on the 3rd of February 1902, and I thought it was just how I felt. And I'm sure that Bill, if he was here, would agree with me.